Well, this is a welcome surprise that we're witnessing, and that is both Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins are no longer working on the Star Wars movies. Yes, the Patty Jenkins who directed Wonder Woman 1984 is no longer going to be seeing her Star Wars project, Rogue Squadron, come to fruition. As we have Variety here confirming that the movies are no longer going to be developed. Star Wars shakeup, Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins movie shelved, Taika Waititi looking to star in his own film. As we get into the juiciness of the article, when Jon Favreau stepped onto the red carpet for the season 3 premiere of The Mandalorian on February 28th, the Disney Plus show's creator and executive producer was feeling nostalgic. Now, when it comes to The Mandalorian, I am worried about it because you've had Favreau himself say that he doesn't have a planned ending for the series, which is worrying, but that is a whole different topic as we continue on. This is what he had to say. It's been a while since we've been all together here like this, Favreau told Variety, evoking the November 2019 premiere for the launch of the show and of Disney Plus itself. It was before the first episode aired. At that time, The Mandalorian was a scrappy land speeder in the vast Star Wars galaxy, nipping at the heels of The Rise of Skywalker, the culminating feature film from director J.J. Abrams that was expected just a month later to obliterate the box office like a cinematic Death Star. Instead, The Mandalorian became a global sensation thanks to the incandescent cuteness of Baby Yoda, blasting Disney Plus into light speed with 26.5 million subscribers in its first 6 weeks. Continuing on, this is what you have to say. The Rise of Skywalker, on the other hand, imploded in spectacular fashion. The film earned just half the grosses of 2015's The Force Awakens, and the widespread scorn of fans and Star Wars movies development have been stuck in the bogs of Dagobah ever since. Whereas Disney Plus boasts a robust fleet of live-action Star Wars series, 3 streamed in 2022 alone, not a single Star Wars movie has been received a green light, let alone gone into production. The earliest a film is scheduled to debut in the theaters is December 2025, 6 years after The Rise of Skywalker. And that is what happens when you have incompetent executives as well as terrible management. You aren't able to greenlight a Star Wars movie. Disney had the golden egg, bought the entire franchise for $4 billion, and by now, you would have expected them to have made their money back. But that is far from the case and has been a disaster for Disney. You're even seeing Star Wars merch not selling and just sitting on shelves at stores and even Disney's own Star Wars theme parks. That should say a lot about the state of Star Wars is in right now. Continuing on, it's not for the want of trying. In December of 2020, Lucasfilm chief Kathleen Kennedy announced that Wonder Woman helmer Patty Jenkins would direct the next Star Wars movie, the one-off adventure Rogue Squadron. But in September of 2022, Disney pulled the title from its scheduled December 2023 release, and sources with knowledge of production say it is no longer in active development at the studio. A rep for Lucasfilm did not respond to a request for comment in December. Jenkins said in a statement that she was still developing Rogue Squadron, but said, "I don't know if it will happen or not." Patty Jenkins, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your Star Wars movie isn't going to be moving forward. And it's finally time we are seeing Disney wake up and taking responsibility in who they are allowing to direct and write these movies of franchises that are of major importance when it comes to fans, as well as the companies that have spent billions of dollars in acquiring them. Because when it comes to a company, the number one goal is to recoup their investment and make the most amount of profits. But in this case with Star Wars, the return on investment has been dwindling. We saw it with the sequel trilogy. As each one released, we saw box office numbers continue to drop, which isn't something you would expect to happen, especially with it being Star Wars. Meanwhile, Variety has learned that a possible Star Wars feature produced by Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige is also no longer in active development at Lucasfilm. Oh man, this is a sight, and why would he be involved within Star Wars when he can't even keep his own operations at bay in producing competent MCU movies and shows? Because of what we've been getting lately has been hot lit dog crap, and it shows in Marvel's box office numbers. People from all over the place, all over the world are sick of it and are choosing not to go to watch these movies in theaters or supporting the shows that are being put out on Disney Plus. We had Phase 4 being absolutely terrible, and now we're seeing Phase 5 with Ant-Man 3 kicking off the new phase with possibly being Marvel's first ever box office flop. And Marvel was comparing Ant-Man 3 to Endgame in its importance to the franchise. And what happened? The movie most likely won't even cross $600 million, to which we saw Endgame finish over $2 billion at the box office. That was the last official Marvel movie that Disney had full control over in profits that crossed $1 billion. Since then, no film has passed even $1 billion when it comes to Marvel. Yes, you had Spider-Man No Way Home, but you also must remember that Sony controls that character and Disney doesn't. As for Rian Johnson, the in-demand filmmaker has made no secret that he still wants to make the Star Wars movies he first announced back in 2017 before the release of his film The Last Jedi, and Kennedy has been clear that Lucasfilm still wants him too, but Johnson's immediate priorities continue his Benoit Blanc movies with Daniel Craig for Netflix and Season 2 of his hit Peacock series poker face with Natasha Lyonne. We'll keep him occupied for the foreseeable future. And this is also another problem that we're seeing within Lucasfilm, and that is Kathleen Kennedy, who is almost 70 years old. And when she is set in charge of things all by her own, she still hasn't been able to produce anything of value when it comes to the Star Wars franchise. Ultimately, her and Iger are going to be the ones that are known as the people that destroyed Star Wars as a brand. And when it comes to Rian Johnson, he may be good at directing and writing in some instances and cases, but when it comes to Star Wars, that hasn't been the case. We have also been seeing more and more well-known media companies continuing to not defend Disney as much as they had in the past, and in this case calling the Star Wars franchise essentially dead in the water. Because when a giant company such as Disney, who seems to not be able to figure out how to get another major Star Wars movie release out, and it's almost been 6 years since The Last Jedi, that should speak volume, especially with the terrible management that is currently set in place over at Disney. And with Lucasfilm having Kathleen Kennedy as president still, it may just be time to find a more suitable person who will bring back value to the name of Star Wars. And with all that in mind, I'd like to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.